The following is a conversation with Mark Zuckerberg inside the MetaVerse. Mark and I are hundreds of miles apart from each other in physical space, but it feels like we're in the same room because we appear to each other as photorealistic codec avatars in 3D with spatial audio. This technology is incredible, and I think it's the future of how human beings connect to each other in a deeply meaningful way on the internet. These avatars can capture many of the nuances of facial expressions that we humans use to communicate emotion to each other. Now, I just need to work on upgrading my emotion expressing capabilities of the underlying human. This is the Lex Fridman podcast. And now, dear friends, here's Mark Zuckerberg.
He's like a little kid. He's like, whoa. And why is there no sound? What's going on?
This is so great. Lighting change? Wow.
Yeah, we can put the light anywhere.
And it doesn't feel awkward to be really close to you.
No, it does. I moved you back a few feet before you got into the headset. You were like right here.
I don't know if people can see.
Okay, that's insanity. Dude, that's insanity.
This, but this is incredible. The realism here is just incredible. Where am I? Where are you, Mark? Where are we?
You're in Austin, right?
No, I mean this place. We're shrouded by darkness with ultra realistic face, and it just feels like we're in the same room. This is really the most incredible thing I've ever seen. And sorry to be in your personal space.
I mean,
we have done jiu-jitsu before.
Yeah, no, I was commenting.
Wow, dude, it's like, wow, man.
To the team before that, even that I feel like we've choked each other from further distances than it feels like we are right now.
I mean, this is just really incredible. I don't know how to describe it with words. It really feels like we're in the same room.
Yeah.
It feels like the future. This is.
Yeah. It feels like the future, man. Dude. It's going to be crazy.
Yeah.
Truly, truly incredible. I just wanted to take it in. I'm still getting used to it. It's like, it's you. It's really you.
Whose headphones?
But you're not.
Oh, you talking about Mark's headphones?
Here with me, right? You're there wearing a headset, and I'm wearing a headset. It's really, really incredible. So what, can you describe what it takes currently for us to appear so photorealistic to each other?
Yeah. So, I mean, for background, we both did these scans for this research project that we have at Meta called Codec Avatars. And the idea is that instead of our avatars being cartoony, and instead of actually transmitting a video, what it does is we've sort of scanned ourselves and a lot of different expressions, and we've built a computer model of sort of each of our faces and bodies and the different expressions that we make, and collapse that into a codec that then, when you have the headset on your head, it sees your face, it sees your expression, and it can basically send an encoded version of what you're supposed to look like over the wire. So in addition to being photorealistic, it's also actually much more bandwidth efficient than transmitting a full video, or especially a 3D immersive video of a whole scene like this.
And it captures everything, like the flaws, like to me, the subtleties of the human face, like even the flaws, that's all amazing. It makes it so much more immersive. It makes you realize that like perfection isn't the thing that leads to immersion. It's like the little subtle flaws, like freckles and like variations in color and just
wrinkles,
all stuff
asymmetry.
About noses, asymmetry, and just the different, like the corners of the eyes, like what your eyes do when you smile, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, eyes are a huge part of it. Yeah, I mean, there's all the studies that most of communication, even when people are speaking, is not
all facial. Like it's facial,
not actually the words that they're saying, right? It's kind of the expression and all that. So, and we try to capture that with the kind of classical
That's true. As
expressive
a sales
avatar
dude,
system
it's
that we
very
have.
true.
That's the kind of more cartoon designed one. You can
Like
kind of,
as a guy who worked in sales for like almost 20 years and a dude who loves poker, he's absolutely like most times you can communicate just like through facial expressions. Or, you know, interestingly enough, we watch Viva La Dirt League, The Silent Hero. You know, the things are, you can read people easily through their facial expressions.
kind of put those kind of expressions on those faces as well. But there's obviously a certain realism that comes with delivering kind of this photorealistic experience that I don't know. I just think it's really magical. I mean, this gets to kind of the core of what the vision around virtual and augmented reality is, of like delivering a sense of presence as if you're there together, no matter where you actually are in the world. And
then also changing the environment around you is going to be super immersive. You're going to be able to basically have your own space inside. Basically, digital assets are going to be a thing. I know people laugh, but like, you know, once people start taking this more seriously because of how amazing and awe-inspiring it is, and you're in it and you're as immersed as Lex is right now, dude. When Mark can do this with the Quest 3 and do it at a cheap price, and people can log on and have experiences like these, they become much more real. They become much more tangible. And then, you know, when you're in that space, if you're in this space and you're working in this space and you're always in this space, then yes, things that you are that you can own, that you have property rights on, that you can sell to other people. Crazy. Not just copies like NFTs, although NFTs aren't necessarily copies, and they're not. Like if there's a creator who makes something that has a tangible value that other people perceive have a value on it, therefore making it the original because code tells you it's the original, you could copy it 1,000 times. It's not going to really matter because people are going to be able to see that it is in fact a copy of the original. All the copies will not be worth anything, but the original one will be. People will get fooled. There will be people who will try to scam people, but people that are literate and know what's going on, and also with programs that will be able to easily detect it in the future, will help people determine what is real, what is not, in terms of the creation, and the origin point will give tangible valuable on that, and digital assets.
I mean, this
people don't think that
experience, I think, is a good embodiment of that, where it's like, I mean, we're in two completely different states halfway across the country, and it just like, you know, looks like you're just sitting right in front of me. It's pretty wild.
Yeah, I mean, I can't. I'm almost getting emotional. It's like it feels like a totally, it's fundamentally new experience. Like for me to have this kind of conversations with loved ones, it would just change everything. Maybe just to elaborate. So I went to Pittsburgh and went through the whole scanning procedure, which has so much incredible technology, so software and hardware going on. But it is a lengthy process. So what's your vision for the future?
So what he's saying, Limitless, is that he went to a facility that scanned him completely, well, at least the top half of him, right, Limitless? And then because they scanned him in that manner, that now that he's in this virtual environment with Mark, he can show up this vivid and this detailed. Now, you might say to yourself, Limitless, like, well, that's BS, because then that means I have to go to a facility to be scanned. But I don't think they're going to have much of an issue with that moving forward, because I think there's going to be technology that will be able to scan, that you can buy a scanner to scan you and then put your digital self in as a profile, right? So you will have like a limitless, for instance, you will buy something for a certain amount. They might already have it. I'm not quite sure, but you will be able to buy something, put it in your house. It will scan you properly, and it will be able to render a limitless in a virtual environment.
This, in terms of making this more accessible to people.
Yeah.
You know, it starts off with a small number of people
I feel like
doing
it's a little bit more than just a camera
very
now.
detailed scans, right? Which is that's the version that you did and
Right.
that I did, and you know, before there are a lot of people who we've done this kind of a scan for. We probably need to kind of over collect expressions.
It's a good
when we're doing the scanning, because we haven't figured out how much we can reduce that down to a really streamlined process, and extrapolate from the scans that have already been done. But you know, the goal, and we have a project that's working on this already, is just to do a very quick scan with your cell phone, where you just take your phone, kind of wave it in front of your face for a couple of minutes, you know, say a few sentences, make a bunch of expressions, but overall have the whole process just be 2 to 3 minutes. and then produce something that's of the quality of what we have right now. So I think that that's one of the big challenges that remains. And right now we have the ability to do the scans if you have hours to sit for one. And with today's technology, I mean, you're using a Meta headset that exists. It's a product that's kind of for sale now. You can drive these with that. But the production of these scans in a very efficient way is one of the last pieces that we still need to really nail. And then obviously there's all the experiences around it. I mean, right now we're kind of sitting in a dark room, which is familiar for your podcast. But I think part of the vision for this over time is not just having this be like a video call. I mean, that's fine. It's cool, or it feels like it's immersive. But you can do a video call on your phone. The thing that you can do in the metaverse that is different from what you can do on a phone is like doing stuff where you're physically there together and participating in things together. And we could play games like this.
You could train people. This is great for colleges. This is great for any type of internship in any genre, in any field. It's great for a lot of things. It's basically like hands-on from miles away, from opposite ends of the globe. You could sell your services and train somebody for a fee. Whatever it is that you do, you could like engineering, you could have classrooms, you could literally have classrooms like this. We talked about this a few months back. This could be like a huge gateway into a completely new universe, man. It's just like it's kind of crazy. Like it's actually going inward. It's like imploding and exploding at the same time. It's like you're going inside on this kind of journey. And it explodes your mind, man. It is quite crazy.
We could have meetings
like
this in the future. Once you get mixed reality and augmented reality, we could have codec avatars like this and go into a meeting and have some people physically there and have some people show up in this photorealistic form, superimposed on the physical environment. I think that stuff like that is going to be super powerful. So we got to still build out all those kind of applications.
And Mark's loving it because it's also going to be super lucrative. They're going to make so much money. The more I watch this stuff, it kind of makes me want to buy some Meta again. I bought it and sold it for a little chunk, but man, like the more I watch this, I don't like their business practices. I don't like how they take people's data. My old man, he used to tell me, don't invest in anything that makes you kind of rich. And he's smart about that, he's smart about that. But in a way, like, they're going to monetize the hell out of this in every single form and facet. You're going to get DLC type content, environmental content. You're going to get all different types of content. You're going to have programs that'll delegate which way you can, the environments that you're in. You're going to have developers use the shit out of this. It's going to be a whole new era. Like what we're heading into is just insanity. It's all hitting bam. Like all the things we've been waiting like a decade or 2 decades for, sometimes, up to 3 decades for, all the things we watched movies and we saw these types of technologies in movies, right, are now just starting to hit so fast. What's that law called? Where exponentially you get like an increase, something law. What's the name of it?
And the use cases around it. But I don't know. I think it's going to be a pretty wild next few years around this.
I'm actually almost at a loss
Thank
for
you.
words. This is just so incredible. This is truly incredible. I hope that people like watching this can get a glimpse of like how incredible it is. It really feels like we're in the same room. Like there is that, I guess there's an uncanny valley that seems to have been crossed here. Like it looks like you.
Yeah,
like I think Lex is like, hey, I think we're here now. Like he's in this space, literally talking to him like this. I think they had to edit it and put these faces close to one another. But you got to understand, like what Lex is seeing right now is essentially like in a three-dimensional head of Mark, which is, that's in a dark room with a 3-dimensional Zuck head in front of me, man, that would be kind of scary. Good on Lex for being able to do this. It'd be a little bit uncomfortable for me, man. But really, like, to be able to see how they're, like, you know, I get that they're editing it and they're smushing their heads together, but like, imagine yourself in either one of these two gentlemen's, you know, views, and just looking at one another three-dimensionally, you know, talking to one another. Your brain would just be like, yeah, I'm here talking to this dude.
There's still a bunch of tuning that I think we'll want to do where different people emote to different extents, right? So I think one of the big questions is, you know, like, when you smile, how wide is your smile, and how wide do you want your smile to be? And I think getting that to be tuned on a per person basis is going to be one of the things that we're going to need to figure out. You know, it's like, to what extent do you want to give people control over that? You know, some people might try to, you know, might prefer a version of themselves that's more emotive in their avatar than their actual face is. You know, so for example, you know, I always get a lot of critique and shit for having like a relatively stiff expression. But, you know, I mean, I might feel pretty happy, but just make a pretty small smile. So I mean, maybe, you know, for me, I would it's actually, you know, it's like, I'd want to have my avatar really be able to better express like how I'm feeling.
That's kind of sad, man. That's kind of sad. Mark's like hitting it pretty. Wow, that's really sad, man. Like, he gets so much critique that he's not a real person, that he actually wants his avatar to be more emotive, to more properly suit him in the virtual world, man. What if that is partly the drive that makes him do this all the time, man? That is insane. That is insane.
Then how I can do physically.
Sad,
so I think that there's a question about how you want to tune that. But overall, yeah, I mean, we want to start from the baseline of capturing how people actually emote and express themselves. And I mean, I think the initial version of this has been pretty impressive. And like you said,
we can tailor ourselves limitless. I want a bigger penis in the virtual world. Just saying.
I do think we're kind of beyond the uncanny valley here, where it does feel like you. It doesn't feel
an emotive penis.
It doesn't feel weird or anything like that.
Make it happen.
I mean, that's going to be the meme that the two most monotone people are
all over the place
together. But I think that actually makes it more difficult. Like, the amazing thing here is that the subtleties of the expression of the eyes. You know, people say I'm monotone and emotionless, but I'm not. It's just this, maybe my expression of emotion.
Yeah, it's like watching two androids talk to one another, because Lex is the same way.
Is more subtle, usually, like with the eyes, and that's one of the things I've noticed
right now, man.
Is just how expressive the subtle.
Listen, I wish I was less expressive. You get me in the virtual world, like I smile too much, I laugh too much, I hate myself. Oh, see, in the virtual world, I didn't smack myself. Like, in the virtual world, I was just like, right, but in the real world, I just smacked the shit out of my face.
Subtle movement of the corners of the eyes are in terms of displaying happiness or boredom or all that kind of stuff.
I am curious to see, just because I've never done one of these before. I've never done a podcast as one of these codec avatars.
So cool. It's a great idea.
And I'm curious to see what people think of it, because, you know, one of the issues that we've had in some of the VR and mixed reality work is it tends to feel a lot more profound when you're in it than the 2D videos capturing the experience.
Right.
So I think that this one, because it's photorealistic, may look kind of as amazing in 2D for people watching it as it feels, I think, to be in it. But we've certainly had this issue where a lot of the other things, just, it's like you feel the sense of immersion when you're in it that doesn't quite translate to a 2D screen. But I don't know, I'm curious to see what people think.
Yeah, I'm curious to see if people could see that, like, my heart is actually beating fast now. This is super interesting. Like, that such intimacy of conversation can be achieved remotely. There's been, you know, I don't do remote podcasts for this reason, and this is like breaks.
And this will be very helpful for interviewers, man. I mean, all the uses. Like, think about all the uses. It's just, the use cases are ridiculous for this.
It's all of that. This feels like just an incredible transition to something else, to the different kind of communication. Breaks all barriers, like geographic, physical barriers.
Well, Lex is a good interviewer, actually. I actually dig Lex's interview. If you're not familiar with Lex Fridman, you got to check out his channel, man. The guy is like really committed, super brilliant. really bright kid. And, I'd love to be able to express myself intellectually like Lex does, because Lex is just a brain, man. He's like a brain with a body. I would imagine Lex walking around as a brain. That's how smart he is. I wish I was articulate like Lex was. He's very, he's dead on. Everything he talks about, he knows his subjects usually. I think he's an engineer. I could be wrong. I think he's an engineer.
What you mentioned,
yeah.
Do you have a sense of timeline in terms of how many difficult things have to be solved to make this more accessible to like scanning with a smartphone?
Yeah, I mean, I think we'll probably roll this out progressively over time. So it's not going to be like we roll it out and one day everyone has a codec avatar. We want to get more people scanned and into the system. And then we want to start integrating it into each one of our apps, right? Making it so that...
The one thing that does scare me, like Let's Go's talking about, is the ability for them to literally know every part of you. That data, they'll be able to, God only knows how, if they're going to abuse it. I think they'll abuse it. I think they've already abused it. You can look at what Facebook did before the changeover to Meta, and you can see the breaches in privacy, the data that they took from us. I never used it for that reason. I never liked Facebook. Christy's on it all the time. And I was always worried that they were taking data from me, and I didn't like it. And now with this technology, I don't really feel safe about it. I don't feel like ever feeling like, oh yeah, I can trust Mark. Like I just never had that vibe at all with Mark. And now on this very personal, intimate level where they're scanning you, like I just feel like it kind of creeps me out a little bit. In terms of the technology and what you can do with it though, absolutely fantastic. It's a damned if you do, damned if you don't scenario.
I think that for a lot of the work style things, productivity, I think that this is going to make a ton of sense. In a lot of game environments, I mean, this could be fine, but games tend to have their own style, right? Where you almost want to fit more with the aesthetic style of the game. But I think for doing meetings, and one of the things that we get a lot of feedback on workrooms, where people are pretty blown away by the experience and this feeling that you can like be remote but feel like you're physically there around a table with people. But then, we get some feedback that people have a hard time with the fact that the avatars are so expressive and don't feel, as realistic in that environment. So I think something like this.
So we've gone from the information age into the misinformation age, which we're currently in, because there's just an explosion of content from like everybody who says they're a fucking expert about everything. And we'll go from the information age to the disinformation age, which we're now in. And then we're going to go into the identity crisis age. Like, that's what I get worried about, man. When like people can just start swapping out like faces and nobody knows who anybody is anymore because of the technology. It's crazy. We are in for a long ride for sure, Mad Style. Let me push his button here, sound effect button. Mad Style's always metal. I love him. Oh, I just spilled pop all over myself. Damn you. Sparkling ice? Damn you, sparkling ice. Damn you.
Could make a very big difference for those remote meetings. And especially with Quest 3 coming out, which is going to be the first mainstream mixed reality product, right? Where you're really taking digital, expressions of either a person or objects and overlaying them on the physical world.
Damn you, sparkling ice.
I think the ability to do
I wish I was in the virtual world. That would have happened to me in the virtual world.
Like, just remote hang sessions with friends. I mean, I think that that's going to be very exciting. So yeah, rolling it out over the next few years. It's not ready to be like a kind of mainstream product yet, but we'll keep tuning it and keep getting more scans in there and keep, and kind of rolling it out into more of the features. But yeah, I mean, definitely in the next few years, you'll be seeing a bunch more experiences like this.
Yeah, I would love to see some celebrities scanned and some non-celebrities.
What'd you say, Aether?
I just just more people to experience this.
Aether says, what do you think of my last comment? Aether, let me read this for you, Aether. Aether says, this is the problem. We talk about the benefits till the cows come home, but that's not what this is for. This is so they can make bots that will impersonate people so well that they can replace customer service and stuff like that. Listen, you know, AI is going to take over. You're right. AI is going to take over a lot of, you know, not AI is kind of like AI is kind of separate of what we're talking about with the virtual world or the metaverse. I hate using that term because it's so toxic. But Aether, I get where you're coming from. I know like a lot of customer service jobs are going to go because of AI. I know a lot of delivery driver jobs are going to go away because of AI. A lot of manufacturing jobs are already being taken away because of robotics and AI. So you are going to see this vacuum of employment that will start hitting because of these technological upgrades. I think it's the responsibility of the industrial leaders to figure out a way in which a large portion of American workers are going to find work. There will be a large portion of citizens all over in every country taken away, their jobs taken away because of the technologies that are happening. I think it's the responsibility of just not industrial leaders, but humanity to figure out how to supplement people. You ever hear of a universal basic income? I think that's a stone's throw away. I think as AI starts to take over these jobs that I've just discussed, and there will be more than just what I discussed, what's going to end up happening is you're going to have a class of people that are going to need higher skill sets and more education to be put into that oversee AI, but it will be disproportionately lower because AI will take up so many positions from humans that at that point humanity has to ask itself, like, what are we going to do? Because essentially the economy will be based primarily from AI and robotics. And as humans, because, well, frankly, we're lazy, we're going to want AI to take over those jobs. But at the same time, we're going to be upset because those jobs will be lost. And so there has to be some type of fill in the vacuum moment that humanity has where we start to realize, like, maybe we got to base the way we do things slightly different in terms of value, in terms of money. Like it's gonna make us rethink a lot of concepts. Like in Star Trek, you know, like what was the thing in Star Trek that they ended up doing where like AI kind of took over like data and like all, you know, like when AI and robotics came about and the people of Star Trek, like they had like this system. It was like the Federation. I'm trying to remember what they did, where it was like all knowledge based, you know, intellectual learning moved you up the societal ladder and gave you position and rank. Something similar to that, where like humans got off of you know, the concept of money in theory. So yeah, Aether, I love the concept because it brings about a great philosophical discussion, bro. Like I totally love that comment, and I could probably talk about that till I'm blue in the face, but we'll keep going.
I would love to see that. This is something, I mean, my mind is blown. I'm literally at a loss of words.
I love that Red Bear says, yeah, that ain't happening nowadays, not in 1,000 years, because humans are generally greedy, right, Red Bear? Like humans have always tried to figure out a way to exploit another human and then gain status and power and wealth through exploiting other humans, right? The whole concept of money in itself, or the transfer of value, money was very important, or fiat was very important, so that you could trade value. Like if I had a chicken and I wanted to trade a chicken for something of greater value, I would give the guy a chicken for the bicycle and then pay him a little bit extra. Like the amount of fiat or the amount of currency represented the amount of debt that I owned of other people's woes and misery. like fiat in essence is just like taking other people's debt and owning it and going, aha, I have your debt here. I have a lot of other people's debt in my hand, and I'm more powerful than you because I have more fiat. I have more paper debt. So like it was a great tool. It's still a great tool to transfer value between one another. But the people that are actually making monetary policy in such a way are so corrupt that they print more of it, creating more debt, making the actual dollar or whatever your currency unit, because every government does this, more worthless. Inflation, the things cost more around you, isn't really that the things cost more around you. It's that the actual pieces of paper that you own are worth less because your money is deflating. So your money is actually deflating because they're printing more of it. And the things around you are costing more because they printed more of it. Now, in today's terms, they don't even have to print it. They just take their keyboard and they type it in. They're like, okay, I printed some money. Okay, that's another $1 trillion. Okay, let's hand it around. Here, you take it. All right, you take some. Oh, they'll vote for me. All right, here, now you take some. Okay, all right. I made another $1 trillion. Oh, man. And temporarily, short term, that's great for the people to print it because they can buy another jet. They can go out golfing some more. They can do things like go out to a fancy restaurant. They're happy with printing more money for the short term, and they don't frankly care because they have all the money anyway. But the people that don't have the money really feel the effects of it because now there's more money, but they're still gaining the same wages, which is why you're seeing unions and everybody get pissed off because they're like, wow, shit costs more, which then the unions ask for more money. And then General Motors and all the car companies, they say, here you go. We'll give you your 40% raise. And guess what they do? They offset the costs by putting it into the prices of their cars. And now the cars are 40% more. The corps aren't going to take the hit. Why should they? Right? So I hope I gave you a little 101 introductory basic course on money. And I'm talking about fiat. Now, if you want to talk about like purchasing power, which is essentially what you put out should be equal or compensate you in a manner that you feel is compensating you correctly for the amount of energy that you put out, you got to decide what it is that you want to take in to store your value in. Do you want to store it in fiat currency? I'm not a big fan of fiat. What the BRICS are trying to do, which is Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, is they're trying to take their fiat currency and back it with gold. But like, frankly, who's going to trust Russia and China with them tallying the amount of gold that they have backing their fiat currency? Come on, give me a break. China, they don't even report their numbers. you trust Russia and China? Oh yes, we have trillions of dollars of gold in our vault. And I can't. What is the name of their currency going to be? Do we know yet? I don't know. But frankly, that's why I'm such a Bitcoin fanatic. I'm kind of like a Bitcoin maxi. I love the idea of Bitcoin. I love the idea that it is an open ledger. Nobody can hack it. There's no third parties. It's just transferring the only 21 million amount of Bitcoin that will ever exist. It will never be more than 21 million Bitcoin. And it's mathematics. It's beauty in mathematics. If you really go down that rabbit hole, it's kind of crazy. Not financial advice, by the way, but we are getting off the topic. So let's get back into this.
Because it's very difficult to just convey how incredible this is. How I feel the emotion, how I feel the presence, how I feel like the subtleties of the emotion.
I don't trust any government
in terms of like work meetings or any kind of, in terms of podcasts. This is awesome. And I don't even need your arms or legs. Is that
well? We got to get that. I mean, that's its own challenge. And part of the question is also, so you have the scan, then it takes a certain amount of compute to go drive that, both for the sensors on the headset and then rendering it. So one of the things that we're working through is what is the level of fidelity that is optimal, right? You could do the full body in kind of a codec, and that can be quite intensive. But one of the things that we're thinking about is like, all right, maybe you can kind of stitch a somewhat lower fidelity version of your body, but still have the main kind of the major movements, but your face is really the thing that we have the most resolution on, right? In terms of being able to read and express emotions. I mean, like you said, if you move your eyebrows like a millimeter, I mean, that really changes the expression and what you're emoting. Whereas, I mean,
what's up, Anarchy? How you doing,
arm
bro?
like an inch probably doesn't matter quite as much. So I think that we do want to get all of that into
We're
here,
talking about your
and that'll
favorite
be some of the
subjects,
work
bro.
over the next period as well.
So you mentioned Quest 3. That's coming out.
That's because he is CGI right now. They are in the metaverse. They got scanned, and they're in this dark environment talking to one another three-dimensionally, and we're seeing it kind of like 2D right now, DY. Welcome. And welcome, Anarchy, and welcome, DY. Good to have you both here.
I've gotten a chance to try that too. That's awesome. So how'd you pull off the mixed? So it's not just virtual reality; it's mixed reality.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's gonna be the first mainstream mixed reality device. I mean, obviously we shipped Quest Pro last year, but it was $1,500. And part of what I'm super proud of is, we try to innovate not just on pushing the state of the art and delivering new capabilities, but making it so it can be available to everyone. And we have this, and it's coming out. And it's $500, and in some ways, I think the mixed reality is actually better in Quest 3 than it was than what we're using right now in Quest Pro. So I'm really proud of the team for being able to deliver that kind of an innovation and get it out. But some of this is just the software you tune over time and get to be better. Part of it is you put together a product and you figure out what are the bottlenecks in terms of making it a good experience. So we got the resolution for the mixed reality cameras and sensors to be multiple times better in Quest 3. And we just figured that made a very big difference when we saw the experience that we were able to put together for Quest Pro. And part of it is also that, Qualcomm just came out with their next generation chipset for VR and MR, that we worked with them on a kind of custom version of it. But that was available this year for Quest 3, and it wasn't available in Quest Pro. So, in a way, Quest 3, even though it's not, the Pro product, actually has a stronger chipset in it than the Pro line at a third of the cost. So I'm really excited to get this in people's hands. It does all the VR stuff that Quest 2 and the others have done too. It does it better because the display is better, and the chip is better, so you'll get better graphics. It's 40% thinner.
Sorry. Thank you, Hugh. Thank you, everybody. Sorry, Pepe. I'm watching a technical program here. I need to look like I know what I'm talking about. For God's sake, when I'm muted like that, nobody takes my technical prowess seriously. I know. Okay. Listen, I was reading Red Bear's comment. Where is it at? Red Bear says, track and trace in Quest products, plus it listens into your convos for commercial purposes. And what I was trying to say is everything's doing that anyway already. All your phones, they're all listening to you. Like, you ever see the crazy commercials that pop up because you talk about something? I was talking to Christy about underwear the other day, and I got like some type of boxer, ad for new boxers. And no matter how many times you try and block it, it doesn't matter. Oh, it's beeping right now. You hear that? It just went off right now while I'm talking about it. It's probably going to talk about how I need some type of skin cream because I'm so damn blotchy. Well, here, hold on. Let's see. Skin cream. There it is. But like, everything's listened to you already. Alexa's listening to you. There is no privacy anymore. You talk to my 90s version of myself. You go back to the 90s. You rewind back to the 90s. You ask DG about like his privacy and how important it was to him that, my privacy stay private. And then you fast forward into this DG right now. My 90s self would smack the crap out of myself for everything that I've allowed to happen. I gave it to him. We all did. Even if we tried to block it, we still did. Because they're still going to try and take it. This is the natural course of evolution with economics, with what's happening with corporations, capitalism. They're going to take it. They're going to find a way to take it. They're going to continue to do it. They got the power. They got the money. They got everything they need to continue to do it. It doesn't matter. We got to fight against that. Yes, we got to stand up against that. But man, you got to ask yourself a question. How do you effectively form together as groups of people and fight it?
So it's just more comfortable. as well. But the MR is really the big capability.
Hugh says, I fight against it by not engaging with or purchasing those technologies, but those technologies continue to surround you, Hugh. Like, the only way you can escape it, even if you were like, no, like, even if you X'd everything out, Hugh, and you thought you were safe, it doesn't matter, because it completely surrounds you, because everybody else is pushing, yes, cool, flip past it, not reading it. How many people do you think read it? How many think people read all the terms of service? How many times do you go past and boom? Actually, I kind of read them, man. Like, if it's important shit, I will read it. But I don't think there's very many that ever do that anymore. They just boom, done. And all those people surround you, Hugh. You know, so all these technologies where everybody pushed cool, they're all around you. They're all listening to you, whether you like it or not. So even if you've done your very best to shut it out, it's going to be all around you, dude. You know what I mean?
Shift. And part of what's exciting about
Red
the whole space right now
attitude.
is, this isn't like smartphones where companies put out a new smartphone every year and you can almost barely tell the difference between that and the one the year before it. Yeah. For this, each time we put out a new headset, it has like a major new capability.
Hold on, let's listen in. We're listening in on Hugh's house right now. Everything is very quiet at Hugh's house. What's that? What's that, Pepe? Oh, he's going into the kitchen right now. Hugh, careful, Hugh. Watch out for that soccer ball.
And the big one now is mixed reality, the ability to basically take digital representations of people or objects and superimpose them on the world. And basically, there's one version of this is you're going to kind of have these augments or holograms and experiences that you can kind of bring into your living room or a meeting space or an office. Another thing that I just think is going to be a much kind of simpler innovation is that there are a lot of VR experiences today that don't need to be fully immersive. And if you're playing a shooter game or you're doing a fitness experience, sometimes people get worried about swinging their arms around. Like, am I going to hit a lamp or something? Am I going to run into something? So having that in mixed reality actually is just a lot more comfortable for people, right? You kind of still get the immersion in the 3D experience, and you can have an experience that just wouldn't be possible in the physical world alone. But by being anchored to and being able to see the physical world around you, it's like it just feels so much safer and more secure. And I think a lot of people are really going to enjoy that.
Yeah, I mean, like it's an interesting conundrum, right, Aether? Because like I think in the very end, if your theory is correct, Aether, what ends up happening is that you have a suppressed society that will eventually blow up from the inside out. Aether, and that's a reality that I would hate to happen, but I can kind of see that there's a probability of that happening
too. So yeah, I'm really excited to see how people use it. But yeah, Quest 3 coming out later this fall.
Yeah, and I got to experience it with other people sitting around, and there's a lot of furniture, and so you get to see that furniture, you get to see those people.
I think personally that the technology is going to pacify people. Like, I like your version better than my version. My probability is that people are going to get so into this that it'll pacify them, that it's going to kind of like take over like Ready Player One, and to the point where it supplicates the rage and it gives them what they want by going into it. Right, and having these experiences, which, I am all for, because I love that shit. But I understand what they're doing in the meantime. Like I'm kind of like, I understand the contract that I'm getting into. A lot of people aren't that aware, Aether. You know what I'm saying? So like, I kind of prefer your probability or your theory better, where like people get enraged and just go, bah, enough of this shit. There could be a point in time where that'll happen, but I think that's at the end point. I don't think that's like right at the beginning. I think right in the beginning, everybody's just, and also you also have to talk about people that are responsible with the technology and do things that you actually support and like, and have some type of ethical background where you're like, wow, this person has very good ethics. I actually like what this guy's trying to do. I agree with the vision, and you're down for it. Zuck is not that guy for me. You know, Zuck is not that guy. Musk is more that guy for me, because Musk, I feel like, thinks about all the angles. Like, Musk talks about things very openly. I know there's not a lot of Elon Musk fans out there, but I like people that get shit done. And Elon Musk is one of those dudes that gets shit done. And I kind of like where he comes from in terms of discussing AI. He's very, very cautious about this next step forward into AI. I like that. I like that. So there are going to be some responsible leaders out there with new technologies that are going to be trying to do the right thing. But it's going to be this melting pot of all these different types of corporations, which is why they had a hearing in DC, and they had Elon there. They had the dude from Palantir. They had Bill Gates. They had all these tech giants congregate to talk about AI, which kind of feels like like, oh, hey, we're doing the right thing. We're your government. And it doesn't seem like it's an in-depth talk that needs to happen. It was just kind of like, let's give everybody what they want, and let's show all these smart people in a room, and we're discussing AI. First off, the government is so slow, frankly, so old, that a lot of them aren't even up on this technology. It's mind-boggling to me that we're giving these people the ability to make decisions for us going forward with all these new technologies. It's crazy.
And you get to see those people like enjoy the ridiculousness of you like swinging your arms. I mean, presumably they're friends of yours, even if they make fun of you. There's a lot of love behind that, and that I got to experience that. So that's a really fundamentally different experience than just pure VR. With like zombies coming out of walls.
It's
pretty
like
interesting conversation.
Shooting at you, and you hide behind your real couch in order to duck the fire. Yeah,
it's incredible how it's all integrated, but also like subtle stuff like in a room with no windows, you can add windows to it, and you can look outside as the zombies run towards you, but like it's still nice view outside,
Yeah.
It's really, and so that's pulled off by having cameras on the outside of the headset that do the pass through. That technology is incredible to do that on a small headset.
And it's not just the cameras. You basically need multiple cameras to capture the different angles and sort of the three-dimensional space. And then it's a pretty complex compute problem, an AI problem, to map that to your perspective, right? Because the cameras aren't exactly where your eyes are, because no two people's eyes are not going to be in exactly the same place. You kind of need to get that to line up, and then do that basically in real time, and then generate something that kind of feels natural, and then superimpose whatever digital objects you want to put there. So it's a very interesting technical challenge, and I think we'll continue tuning this for the years to come as well. But I'm pretty excited to get this out, because I think Quest 3 is going to be the first device like this that millions of people are going to get. That's mixed reality. And
he's right. Millions of people are going to buy Quest 3. It's affordable. It's their mass adoption headset. Quest 3 is going to be a game changer for VR. Quest 3 is going to be the spark that ignites VR into something much more than it currently is. It's a smart business strategy. It's actually a very smart business strategy. Make it cheap. Make it cheap. Watch that adoption. It's going to flood it.
It's only when you have millions of people using something that you start getting the whole developer community really starting to experiment and build stuff, because now there are going to be people who actually use it. So I think we'll get, we got some of that flywheel going with Quest Pro, but I think it'll really get accelerated once Quest 3 gets.
It's because, exactly, Hugh, and I will tell you, it's because of everything that happened when Apple cock-blocked a lot of the data that Facebook was taking. And Apple put this wall down, and they were like, no more. So they essentially cut off Facebook from a lot of the data that they previously had, because it became corpo wars. They moved into corpo wars. They started battling one another, because you got Apple's new headset, and they're all moving into this VR realm. They're all pushing for it. Everything that they're spending now in R&D is going into this. And now it's a battle between the corps. And so when Apple did that, Zuck had to look at it, and that's when Facebook really started taking a hit. And he's like, all right, I'm switching up the game. I'm going to rename Meta, and we're just going to go balls to the wall, pedal to the metal, and it was actually a really bright decision for him. Everybody thought he was insane to do it at the time. I think I was the only one who understood what he was doing. Well, there's a lot of people out there that probably understood what he was doing, but I think I was very vocal in saying that it was a bright move. It was a smart move for him to do. But you can see the direction that they're heading in right now. You can totally see that they're 110% committed to this. There is going to be so much money in this, but also it's a way to reconnect to the data that they lost. So you know, like that's interesting, Hugh, that you say that, because again, Hugh says unfortunately it is also going to be a data vacuum lining FB's pocket, Facebook's, now Meta's pocket, because they're trying to recapture the data, but they're going to do it on such a huge level and such a personal level that it's a little bit astounding.
It's out there, so yeah, I'm pretty excited about this one.
Plus, there's hand tracking without, so you don't need to have a control. So this the cameras aren't just doing the
Peace out,
pass
Anarchy. I'm getting a wallet, by the way.
of the
I'll
entire
send you the
physical
address.
reality around you. It's also tracking the
got you,
details
DM,
of
bro.
your hands in order to use that for like gesture recognition, this kind of stuff.
Yeah, we've been able to get way further on hand recognition in a shorter period of time than I expected. So that's been pretty cool. I don't know. Did you see the demo experience that we built around
Piano?
Like, yeah, the piano, learning to play piano.
Yeah, it's incredible. You're basically playing piano on a table, and that's without any controller. And like how well it matches physical reality with no latency.
Wow.
And it's tracking your hands with no latency.
Wow,
and
that's exactly what I was
tracking all the
talking
people
about
around you
earlier.
with no latency, integrating physical reality and digital reality.
Wow.
Obviously, that connects exactly to this Kodak avatar, which is in parallel, allows us to have ultra realistic copies of ourselves in this mixed reality. It's so like it's all converging towards like an incredible digital experience in the metaverse. To me, obviously, I love the intimacy of conversation, so even this is awesome. But do you have other
I agree, Soriel.
ideas of what this unlocks, of like something like Kodak Avatar unlocks in terms of applications, in terms of things we're able to do?
Well, there's what you can do with avatars overall in terms of superimposing digital objects on the physical world. And then there's kind of psychologically, what does having photorealistic do? So I think we're moving towards a world where, we're going to have something that looks like normal glasses, where you can just see the physical world, but you also see holograms. And in that world, I think that they're going to be, not too far off, and maybe, by the end of this decade, we'll be living in a world where there are kind of as many holograms when you walk into a room as there are physical objects. And it really raises this interesting question about what are
you talking about that Star Trek episode with Wesley? Mad Style. I remember what you're saying, man. Dude, what if there's a way, like we watched this video earlier that a guy made this hypersonic speech jammer where he would point it and a noise would go out and people could not read the books, and it's an actual thing. It's a scientific thing. And the noise would be muffled and inside acoustically somebody's head, and they could not read the page, and it was actually a really fun video we watched. Imagine now that they're able to do these things with the headset through audio and video, like that episode of Star Trek where they can actually do something with like a retinal scan and find a way to code something into you. Like that is absolutely terrifying, man. Don't be bringing that up, Mad Style. God damn it, Mad Style. You are so metal right now. What is bringing the metal? I remember that episode, dude. Hold on a second. Can we pull up the episode? Hold on. I'm going to play this. I'm going to try and find it while
a lot of people have this phrase where they call the physical world the real world. And I kind of think increasingly, the physical world is super important, but I actually think the real world is the combination.
Hold on. Here we go. Uh-oh. Wesley's being bad here. Is he already under the mind control? He's already under the mind control.
Okay, Wes.
Oh no. Yeah, that's right. He was the last one left. Wesley was the last one left, man. Here we can see what happens when you wear a Quest 3 headset in the future, in the way far future. Oh, God.
That is quite a chase, Mr. Crusher.
Oh, Jesus.
Dr. Crusher.
Oh, my Jesus. Don't put it on, Wesley.
No! Hold him steady.
No! No!
It won't hurt.
No!
You'll like it.
His eyes.
Oh my God, Clockwork Orange. Oh my God, we got a Clockwork Orange moment. Now we're gonna reference Clockwork Orange. Hold on. Man, there's so many references right now. Oh my God. Okay, here. Now this scene is an epic scene. Where's it at? Here we go. Here, and now. Where's it at? Here it is. Oh, it was back there. Oh my God, yeah, Clockwork Orange gave me the heebie-jeebies, man. I'm telling you what. Woo, dude, you cannot have your. I can't get it. I can't pause it at the right part, man. Hold on. It was the eye scene where he was forced to. They were twisted. Oh man, this was there it is. Now let's compare screens. Right now. Okay, here we go. Look at this. Wow, look at that. Oh, now what do we got? What are we comparing it to? Hold on a second. What are we comparing it to now? Oh, Jesus. Oh, now we're comparing it. Oh, God. Oh, my God. Oh, no, that's going to be the thumbnail. This is going to be the thumbnail right here. Oh, my God. Here, let's just get this lined up here so we get the perfect thumbnail. Oh, no. Okay, right there. Okay, that is perfection. That is perfection. Oh, that's perfection right there. You can't get any better than that. By the way, if you want to watch this whole thing, I'll put the description, the YouTube highlight. I think we've watched as much as we can watch. And let's get to the next fun stuff next.